Before you send your daughter back to school, make sure you're sending her with confidence. My next guest is sharing 5 skills we can teach at home to help our daughters navigate the school year pressures. Author and speaker Karen Eddington is joining me. So great to have you back in the studio.
So good
We're
to
having
be
one of
here.
those post-COVID connections.
I know, I
which
love being back.
It's crazy it's still happening, but I'm so glad that it is. So good to see you.
I've missed y'all.
In the flesh, we've missed you. Well, teaching confidence, teaching self-worth, I'm going to underscore, important for all kids, girls and boys. We are specifically turning our attention to our daughters today. How come?
Right, our girls, I think after doing back to school workshops for years, I'm about to send my own girl to high school. I want these girls to have a voice. And sometimes in order to have a voice, you have to use your voice. They have so many pressures. It's social media, it's body image. And some of those are a little bit more unique to boys. And while these tips will work for boys too, think about the expectations that are being placed on our girls and knowing there's things we can do to help.
Yes, let's jump into those things. You have 5 skills we can teach at home, starting with you want us to find positive distractions.
Right, positive distractions are ways to get out of our head. These are things like reading a book, going for a walk, doing a craft. But I'm gonna give you the phrase that got us through middle school. Okay, and it was this, and you know what? I wish people would use it with me as an adult too sometimes, but it was, do you need a positive distraction or do you need to feel this? There's kind of 2 parts to this. Sometimes we try and move our girls on and they're not ready. They need to feel what they're going through. But sometimes at our house, I know we get stuck in our head a lot when something is hard. And so sometimes we need to help her move through it with positive distractions. And another way to say it too is do you need to sit with this or are you ready for a solution?
How wise.
Yeah.
How wise. I can see where you can say even the adult payoff would be huge.
Yes.
Do you need a positive distraction? Am I going to turn to those hobbies you outlined, the reading or whatever it is? Or do I need to just work through this and be in the moment?
Right, because sometimes we can't move forward unless we feel heard or understood.
Yeah.
And so once we're understood, sometimes we need that extra bit to get out of our head.
I love that. Help her communicate. You talked about the importance and the value in finding a voice and then using your voice. How can we teach that at home?
Oh, it's so important. I know through those, especially the preteen years, we started speaking in caveman. I was just grunts. And sometimes she would say I don't even know how I feel right now. So sometimes we need to help her understand how she feels. Sometimes when they get home from school, we do those 1-word questions how was your day? And they're good. And those are great. They're still a greeting and I still use those. But I've learned that sometimes they need to ask those open-ended questions. And the thing that's helped us the most is actually learning. We help her communicate by having one-on-one time. So at our house, we started something called Hangout Day.
Okay.
That's just what the kids call it. It's just kind of a casual way. But on their birthday date, every one of my kids, they know, if your birthday was on the 10th, every 10th of that month, that kid chooses something.
You've scheduled it. You've built it in.
We schedule it. And sometimes it's hard to make that time.
Yeah.
But to have that one-on-one time where they know they're seen makes such a difference.
And that's the space that you feel the communication really comes out. Beyond the caveman grunts, that's so funny, or the 1-word answers, that designated, you peel away from the day, the regular day, and it's just you two, and you feel the communication take off.
Right, and any way you can do it. You might not have to be as formal as we are doing it every single month, but think about that one-on-one time in a car and making sure they feel seen individually.
Yeah, I actually love how you schedule it with the birthday. I haven't heard that before. That's really smart.
Well, if we ever get in those busy patches of life, we know, and also sibling rivalry, that happens at our house, but they know it's consistent and fair. So it's something that's really worked.
I'm going to adopt that for sure. We talk about teenage girls, and immediately the word that comes to mind is drama.
Yes.
How can we help get ahead of that a little bit better?
Right, so if we better understand and decode what drama is, we can better fix it. So drama is the word we use for high emotion conflict. So when there's emotions and there's conflict going on, that's drama. So we can fix it if we know the root. It's our feelings of insecurity mixed with miscommunication. So if we learn we need to talk to each other instead of about each other, we can solve a lot of those problems that come up.
I actually love that you're taking it deeper. I feel like sometimes we throw around that word drama, quit being dramatic, and suddenly we're labeling them. Like it becomes this
Right.
label or this thing that's part of the dynamic that doesn't have to be. So you're almost taking it to that deeper level as you decode it, the word drama,
Right,
and
right.
helping them process that from a more mature perspective.
And it goes back to that first tip we talked about. Like sometimes we need to feel our feelings and
Sure.
sit with something and be heard
Yes.
in order to move forward. So it's part of the drama is like understanding yourself so you can better move forward and have better relationships with our friends. I know drama gets tough. Like when you're in a friend conflict or something happens with a cell phone, like if you know we've got to work through that moment to feel better about ourselves and keep talking to each other, not about, but to. It matters.
I know you've done a lot of thoughtful work at your house in redefining popularity and
Yes.
what that is and what it means.
So popularity a lot of times gets like a negative connotation, but one of the things I've learned through the years watching patterns is that popular students, what they have in common is they believe in their ability to influence their peers. Now I'm gonna pull in my son, for example. He just graduated, but he's had some like quirky styles. Like he wore bow ties and he loved the tuba. And these were things that my husband and I were like, we don't know. And we couldn't project our insecurities on him. So when he would go out the door, we would just say like, you love it. Like he would dress up on dress up days that there were not even dress up days.
Love.
And so when he
What a
walked out
cool
that
kid.
door, we'd say, you love it so much that
Yeah.
they love it. And that's what we want to ingrain into them is like believing in what you love,
Yeah.
believing in what you've got. And so, yeah, you can use that phrase, love it so much that they will love it too.
That redefines the whole idea. And I love that they're hearing that at home first.
Yes.
That's great of you to push that. Worth, finally, we've got a minute left, and I wish we had an hour left to talk about
Oh,
this
it's so
all-important
important.
word. But
Yeah.
teaching worth, you say, is crucial to our young girls' happiness and ultimately their success.
Right. Sometimes we think our worth is based on that hustle or that achievement, especially with school, especially like those grades coming in.
Yeah.
But if we can teach and live that self-worth is constant, it is always there and it does not change. And it starts with our own personal example, but learning to live to honor self-worth instead of self-esteem, what goes up and down.
Yes.
It's just the constant that we need in life to
Great
bring
words.
that peace.
Great words. You have a book coming out in September,
So
right?
excited. Yes.
About this very
It's a
topic?
big announcement. It's the second edition of Understanding Self-Worth. So if you want to watch the bookstores or if you check my Instagram handle, it's at the Under Pressure Project. You'll be able to see right when it comes out and be one of the first in line.
All right.
Super excited.
Beautiful cover. It says a lot, right? With its vibrancy and its energy. Thank you so much for
Thank
bringing that
you.
to our show today,
Thank you.
too.